My name is Pavel Adventurer. I am Czech adventurer. I quit my 9-to-5 IT job to hitchhike around the world. In nearly 2 years, I got through restless Middle East to African continent. This time I decided to take a 12-hour coach from Cairo to 800 kilometers distant Siwa Oasis near Libyan border. I was brought by curiosity of Berber tribes. I normally live with families to better discover local culture. However, this was impossible due to Siwan tradition. Siwans are Berbers that came from west. Their language is a mixture of Bedouin and Berber dialect, and it's quite distinct to Egyptian Arabic. Asphalt road was paved in 1980, which connected Oasis with rest of Egypt. Massive tourism has started in early 90s. The roads around the town are in poor condition, and people still use vehicles pulled by donkeys or tuk-tuks to move around. Desert climate and numerous water springs allow to grow dates, olives, figs, bananas or lemongrass. Siwan's lake are a rich source of salt. From olives, they produce famous olive oil. In Siwa, I tasted one of the best dates in the Middle East. They tasted like a dried plum. Every year in October, they harvest them and it's accompanied by a huge festival. Siwans eat every morning 3 dates before any meal to clean their stomach. They believe it boosts their erection. In addition, a couple of Siwan men told me they have big penises. Siwa is home to some great landmarks that attract people from all over the world, such as Shelley Fortress, Revelation Temple, Emmaus Temple, Cleopatra's Bath, Fatna's Island, Darkur Mountain, and Siwan Museum. Siwans are very conservative and keep strongly their tradition. Little girls are free. Unmarried girl covers her hair and shows only beauty of her face to attract potential groom. After engagement, girl has to cover face apart from eyes. A married woman has to cover entire body while being on public places. Siwan women are not allowed to work. They are expected to stay in the house, take care about the kids, prepare food or handmade carpets. Man is supposed to bring the money and do all the shopping, so his family has enough food and other needs. Siwan teach their kids to swim in many springs by fixing on them empty bottles. Upon my arrival, I began to confirm myself with Siwan reality. I felt like in medieval ages. I started to discover the oasis and its people very slowly. I spent good afternoon talking with Ahmed. His grandfather comes from Morocco. He has 1 wife and 5 kids, 3 boys and 2 daughters. He works 16 hours a day to be able to feed his family. In the morning, he helps in the shop, and in the afternoon, he works in the factory bottling water. The rest of the day I spent by discovering Shelley Fortress that was built in 12th century. Part of the fortress creates the oldest mosque in Siwa. In the mosque serves Abdullah. He is blind, 85 years old, which makes him probably the oldest imam in Siwa. I eventually slept over on the top of the fortress. In the morning, when I woke up, I have seen view to entire Siwa Oasis. I needed to charge my devices. On the way down, I entered one of the bazaars. Nobody was inside. The bazaar was full of beautiful, colorful stuff. The roof was made from palm tree branches. I began charging my stuff and took a nap. 3 hours later came Awam. He had no problem having me there. His two young brothers and some friends came along to eat lunch together. We had bread with jam, cheese, and steamed vegetables. After lunch, Awam prepared typical Siwan chai. Awam quite liked my pictures and asked me to photograph his bazaar. His bazaar was established since 2011. He sells typical handmade products like carpets, scarves, purses, bracelets. Awam has 3 kids, 2 girls and son Osama that came from school in the evening. For dinner, Awam prepared plum meat with vegetables and bread. The night I spent in the tent next to Awam Bazaar. In the morning, I made my business to medieval toilet and took shower in the mosque bathroom. I drank water from public jar made from China. I was passing by butcher while I spotted camel's legs. I had to discover it. In Siwa, it is still very common that people eat camel meat. 2 times a week they buy a live camel in the camel market and bring it to Siwa to slaughter it. The time of lunch came and I was invited to join the course. I tried camel liver first time in my life. I found the taste similar to beef. However, later that day, my entire body was shaking, which was very scary. Next day, I was alright. In the afternoon, I met in the street with 2 brothers, Muhammad and Mohammed, that run a family restaurant. I agreed to make promo video for them as an exchange for food and place to stay for a couple of days. I was going to sleep after closing and waking up before opening of the restaurant. Mohammed was great cook and I loved his food, especially his yellow rice. One day I noticed there is a cat with newborn kittens in the kitchen. They said that cat is clean animal and had no problem to have her there with entire family. In the bike rental I met with Ahmed. Sometimes he needs to get lost for a while, like going back home for the lunch or go to pray. So he keeps his shop open and shop owners around get him a bike rented in his absence. Ahmed is Sunnah Muslim. He goes to pray 5 times a day. Every Muslim has body cleaning ritual before each prayer, because they will stand in front of the God. In the mosque, Imam is leading the prayer and the man is following him in every step. At night, we had a little sandstorm. I borrowed a bike from Ahmed and went to meet my Colombian friend in Cleopatra's restaurant. My friend was already gone, but I was warmly welcomed by manager Shisley, who is deaf-mute. I was surprised how easily I could communicate with him in a sign language that I hadn't known before. Shisley wanted me to try civic clothes called kalabia. We agreed I would help in the restaurant for the food and place to sleep, so the restaurant became my new home for oncoming days. The restaurant is in the middle of the palm tree jungle, so to get rid of annoying mosquitoes, Shisley put some leaves on a charcoal, which smelled nice and worked fine. When I woke up, I was alone in the whole restaurant. I began to discover it. The view to entire palm tree jungle was amazing. I could not resist to have a morning swim in the spring. Of course, naked. Truth. If somebody has seen me, I would have probably ended up in the jail. In Muslim countries, even innocent pee behind a tree in the public places is taken very seriously. Thursday at work was not busy at all, similarly like other days. The morning we spent by playing music. Shisley meantime prepared some typical Suvi pasta. Afternoon we spent by drinking tea, smoking hashish and talking about life in Siwa. Next to the restaurant was very untypical mosque. In the evening, we set off to discover darker mountain. The view to Oasis was magical. Colombian friend was playing his new song and Sun gave us amazing goodbye. On the way back, Ali wanted to show me his first car he drove. It was an old Jeep. After, we pop into friend's garden to drink a shot of lemongrass chai and called lift back to his home. In one day, I managed to gain Ali's friendship, so I got invited to father's house. Hibiscus drink killed my thirst, and I headed back home. One day, I left my job earlier. I called lift to the town to meet with Sheikh Mohammed. He invited me for lunch. He comes from city in Nile Delta. He studied Islamic studies in prestigious Al-Azhar University in Cairo. At the age of 44, he serves as an imam in Siwa main mosque. After lunch, I had time to discover beautiful mosque minaret. Entire town saw me, but nobody cared. I am there without a permission. A little bit later, I enjoyed amazing sunset over Siwa Oasis. Christians are called for prayer by church bell, Jews by musical horn called shofar, and Muslims by prayer call named azan.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت صلاة قد قامت صلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
That day Muslims celebrated Isra and Miraj holiday. It is a story from Quran where Prophet Muhammad was cleaned by two archangels and set off for night journey on his horse to Jerusalem where he met with Allah. Rest of the night was filled by Sufi songs. It's time to leave this lovely restaurant, this lovely place where I've been living, for like 1 week and I've been working here. It was like living in the jungle. I was walking back to center of Siwa and I got left from a donkey man. After 3 weeks of living as close to Siwan as possible, I needed some privacy and decent bed in the hotel. While I was looking for one, I met with Ali, who took me to the wedding. The wedding in Siwa lasts 3 days. It was first day and everything was in preparation. Siwans were just building first part of a wedding tent. It was around midday and was very hot, so the break was needed and then came time of the lunch. For Siwans are olives like a meat. After obligatory shot of chai, we were back on the feet. This time I gave Olive my camera and helped with construction of the tent. It is a tradition to slaughter a cow. Everything began right after afternoon prayer. The groom has got many bloody high fives for the luck. Traditionally, the strongest will get the tail and run away. Young boys were dragging a good quarter of hour for this precious talisman. Another souvenir was liver. The cow was middle size, so one extra sheep needed to be slaughtered as well. Now, you can guess what that is. Okay, finish. That was another tough experience, but it wasn't too bad because I have seen killing sheep before. After sunset prayer followed the dinner. This time we had chicken with pasta and olives. Men and women celebrate weddings separately. Me as a man, I was not allowed to attend women part. That was hidden behind the curtain. After dinner, I was totally exhausted and went to accommodate myself in a hotel. Today is the second day of the wedding, just going there. Sadly, I learned that the big dancing night happened on the first night, although Ali told me otherwise. Nevertheless, Ali also told me that I would not be able to film it anyway. Second day, people gathered for the dinner and went back home. The third day of wedding turned to be the best. In the afternoon, we headed to the palm tree garden. I joined the jumping session. Men sit down and enjoyed chai with peanuts. A bit later, men sit in a circle and began playing music. They played on drums, flutes, and sang. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to make a video. I can only make a record of music. So I use some illustrational shots instead. Some guys, they smoke some hashish, so I'm gonna join them. Guys, they prefer that I'm not filming them when they're smoking or when they prepare hashish for their security.
Delete this one because my friend is in...
Yes, delete it, please.
I am foreigner, I can take a picture of myself. Hashish amplified the overall experience. The rhythm of the drums became very deep. I felt like an African tribe during process of man initiation. I felt power, unity, and fraternity. I have never smoked so much in my life, which turned to be deadly. While I was recovering myself, the men continued wedding celebration by night ride around the town. At the end of my stay in Siwa, me and my Chinese friend Sean got invited to Yusuf's house. Me as a man, I was accepted only to men's guest room. Sean was allowed to enter women part of the house and could shoot, but only herself instead of Yusuf's wife. Yusuf's mother language is Siwan. When he was 8 years old, he began to work in the market, where he was first time exposed to Arabic language. He was seeing his wife at elementary school. However, he never spoke to her, but he said to his mom he likes her. When he was 15, he bought the land for the house for $5,000. At the age of 20, he went to army. 2 years later, he began to build his house. It costed him $9,000, including equipment for the house, apart from the kitchen. It is a duty of wife's family to equip a kitchen. As soon as the house was ready, he went with his uncle to ask father of his future wife for permission to marry her. He gave him $1,000 and agreed on engagement day. Afterwards, he sent wedding announcement to everybody he knows. He got married at the age of 24. Wedding costed him $1,500. Every guest gave him some financial gift. A year after wedding, his son was born. He may have more kids in the future. Yusuf worked as a safari guide and learned English language by interaction with foreign visitors. His English is fluent, however, he cannot read or write the language. Nowadays, he works as a bartender in a restaurant. His wife attended only elementary school for 9 years. Since then, she stayed in the house till she got married to Yusuf at the age of 18. Nowadays, she stays in the house, takes care for their son, prepares food. Occasionally, she handicrafts scarves and other garments, or she pays henna to female visitors of the house. By Western society, Siwans may be regarded as a poor. In my eyes, they have more than it is seen. They have great underground water, they grow organic food and breed stress-free livestock. They have lots of time to spend with their families and friends. I have seen present strong human values like unity, brotherhood or honor. By this movie, I made another dream happen on my hitchhiking work trip. I put together all my skills I gained not only in these 2 years I am on the road. 1 month I shot in Siwa and another month of work on it. I gave to it everything I could. If you like what I do and you want to support me, share this movie right now with your friends on Facebook. This is the simplest way how you can pay it back. Thank you.